Hello, my name is Trudy. I have known Jennifer for pretty much my whole life, and she's known my family ever since. I thought today I would share my story to help her out on her Friday. And most of you guys know my story, and some of you this may be the first time you have heard my story. Throughout my life, I've had many medical challenges. The first medical challenge I faced was becoming diabetic at 2 years old. So you can imagine what life is like with that. The whole entire time of my life, I have faced many things the devil has tried to throw at me, which is fear, distraction, sometimes not being thankful for who I am or what God has given me due to my medical reasons. And sometimes I have had the forgetfulness that we often have of who is in control and who has the power to heal and fix all those things, and that is God. Back in 2014, I had pretty much a hard time eating food. I couldn't swallow food that was this size or regular portion size, and I got to the part where I could not drink things very well, and it would just get stuck right in here, and I felt like I would be choking or just couldn't breathe sometimes. So it was hard. I had no clue what was going on. I was questioning, researching, going to places with answers that I knew who did not have true answers, instead of going to God and asking Him where to go, what to do, and how am I going to get through this. So back in 2014, this all started to happen. I started not being able to swallow my food. I lost a ton of weight. I was having blood sugars through the roof. We're talking about like 300 to 400, maybe higher than that, which would make sense because half the time I wasn't eating quite a bit because I could not swallow. So I really couldn't tell what was going on. My diabetic doctor at that point thought I wasn't taking my medicine, but I was. And just felt very sick. I didn't feel like myself and just having a real hard time. It scared the family. It was concerning them. Everybody had no words of what was going on. So I finally went to the doctor, and the doctor really didn't know what to say either, but except for sending me for a bunch of tests and to many different doctors and see what we could do. During this whole time, I was scared. I was clueless. I had lots of confusion and just really didn't know what to do and just kept searching and searching and searching. There was many days that I would be super happy, and there's days I was not so happy. But the whole time in this, I knew who was in control on those days that I was happy, and I knew that was God. And I knew the right thing to do is to pray and seek Him and know that He was going to lead me down a path that I was not looking for. So we finally found a doctor. It was actually a heart doctor that did a CAT scan or some kind of test on me that let them really know what was going on. They first thought it was lung cancer, but I was not a smoker. And when the heart doctor got a hold of my lab results and things, they found out it was something else. During that, I was so scared. I was afraid I was going to die right then and there. I did not think I would make it to my age now, which is 32. I really thought that was the end for me. But I wasn't scared to die because I knew when I die that I'm going to go to heaven because of accepting Christ at the age 6. And that is the best decision I have ever made in my life. So when I went to see the heart doctor, he informed me that I had a pretty big cyst. I think he said it was like an orange-sized cyst, so think of an orange that you'd have for breakfast or for a snack, inside of me, near my lungs. And at that time, they really couldn't tell where it was, but they knew it was in that location. So God had a plan. Don't know what he was trying to teach me with that at that time. But I did know that he was the great physician and everything was going to be okay because he takes care of his people. So there's lots of prayers and there's lots of scary time. I do remember my family planning my funeral, which is kind of funny to hear and scary at the same time. But there again, coming from a Christian family, we all knew that my heart was right with God and we knew where I was going to go and they would see me again one day. So I did have my surgery. I think I was in the hospital for maybe about a week. And the whole time getting prepped for this surgery, I kept thinking in my mind, and once again, the enemy wanted to destroy, and he wanted me to think that it was cancerous and that that was going to be it, that I wasn't going to live any longer than what I was at that time. I think I was 22 or 23. I had just gotten married the year before that, so it was right before my 1-year anniversary. So all kinds of things were going through my mind. But then having good Christian friends and a good family that has a good Christian background kept leading me and helping me refocus on who I needed to focus, and that was God. So I did have my surgery, and I believe I was in the ICU. If you guys don't know what that is, it's intensive care unit. I was the only young person in this unit. There was a lot of older people that had heart conditions and things like that. But I do remember being very scared on that table and in the prep room. And I remember coming out of it and my husband scaring me, saying I lost a leg, which that was not the truth. Made me chuckle when I came to, but I was very sore. Didn't know really what was going on a little bit. Couldn't move, couldn't really do too much, but I remember having a bunch of tubes hooked to me to take care of me. And after a while, the doctor came along and finally told me where my cyst was. And my cyst was attached to my esophagus. So they had to kind of reconstruct my wall of my esophagus, and it did not touch my lungs at all like anybody thought. Now, when they did the surgery, the heart doctor did not want to go through my chest because if they would have done that through here, it would have been very painful at my age. They even had my mom believe that they were going to go through my back, and thank God they did not go through my back either. But however, they did go through my rib cage, and it left me what my husband likes to call a battle wound. I got this big, long cut on this side over here. And yes, I was in pain for quite some time. And I remember the doctor coming out and saying that it was attached there, and there was reasons why I had all these tubes. But as I'm sitting in the hospital, as you guys all know, I have a sister who is a very great prayer warrior and just constantly was praying through this whole thing. I mean, the whole family was praying, but she's definitely a prayer warrior and kept praying that it would come out negative for cancer. Well, doctor came in one day and it was negative. And I thank God every day for that it was not cancerous. And I thank God that I'm still here and I'm able to tell my story and share it with you guys. But one thing I have learned is God had a purpose. And even though I went through painful time and a scary time in my life, I know that He is always there. He's never going to leave us. He's never going to forsake us. He leads us in paths that we may not realize we're going to face one day, but we will. And we know that He's going to be there for us. And He never shows us that He doesn't care for us. He's always caring. And He is always going to reach out for us when we ask for that hand of comfort. We may go through things in life that we don't understand. We may go through cancer. We may go through diabetes. We may go through death. We may lose somebody in an accident. We may just lose a job. Whatever it is, we know that God is going to go through us and help us through what we're going through. I hope this brings a blessing to you guys. Definitely keep Jennifer in your prayers. It was nice talking to you. Have a great weekend.